the I always like to say this with the classic awkward silence and awkward, is this actually working? Is this actually streaming on YouTube? Um, I mean, I know that it's kind of weird, but I always like to do this because I feel like an idiot if I discover that I've been talking for 5 minutes and nobody could hear this. But I can see now that I'm live because my YouTube window just started broadcasting my face. So welcome everybody. It's always nice to host these sort of webinars and to talk about, well, guess what? AI tools. And this one is one that I'm really excited about because it's I'm gonna try to create a little bit of clarity around all these different tools that we have. I'm not gonna pick which tool is the best. This is not about should I use Claude or ChatGPT or I think these are all things that you can figure out yourself. What I think I can help you with instead is to try to create a mental map of the whole ecosystem from ChatGPT all the way to vibe coding using, I don't know, whatever you want to use, Cloud Code, like this whole spectrum of tools, how they fit together and how they might be helpful for you as a professional or for your organization. So, but before we get started, I always like to ask a couple of questions. I mean, really one question to people as you know everybody joins in. And the question that I like to ask is the one written at the bottom of this slide. Say in the chat where you're connecting from, what you do, and well, why are you here? What makes you interested in this topic? What are you looking to gain from this? Let's see how many people are connected already, and then we're gonna get started with the content of this session. But I always do this because it's quite fun to see how many different people connect to this sort of events that we do. There's usually people from all sort of walks of life, all parts in the world. So we have Nicola from Spain. Welcome. So I'm connecting from Copenhagen today, by the way. So far we have two countries connected in the webinar. Marketing consulting pivoting into AI. Interesting. I think there's a lot of people who are doing this. There's a huge opportunity. So good for you. We have Filippo from Milan working with different AI startups. Interesting. So I guess you have maybe some consulting kind of role, or maybe you have some sort of like fractional role. Interesting. We have Carl from South Africa building AI agents for curriculum design. Interesting. I mean, I work in that industry as well, which is quite cool. So kudos. We had, yes, Filippo, an advisor, amazing. Then we have Mihala's notes, Italy, Ciao, lead consultant in digital transformation. We have Edu tuning in from Helsinki, interested see potential in gaming development with proper use. Gaming development is an interesting one. It's also a tough one because I have a few friends in game development and they were telling me that there's been a lot of turmoil when AI started to be able to create those digital assets quite fast. The industry was hit quite a little bit. We have Adam. Hi, Adam. Nice to see you. Sales operation from Texas, United States. Adam was one of our students. If I recognize you, at least from I don't see your face, but from the surname, I think I know who you are. Then we have Kudos, who runs Alex from Brighton, UK, training SMEs how to adopt AI. When I say SMEs, you mean small and medium enterprises or subject matter experts? I'm curious. We have Anke. Ciao, Anke. I know I owe you an answer to an email. Or maybe I answered you a couple days ago, I don't remember, but I found it quite late. Head of Strategic Operations at Stroyer. Amazing. So happy to have you here. Cool. Well, so then we have, as usual, we have people from all different parts of the world, which is super exciting every time. I love how there's people connecting from everywhere. Let me introduce myself and then we're going to get into the topic of today's session. So my name is Gianluca Mauro. I've been working on AI for over 10 years. And I've done all sort of things, but mostly I worked on two companies. One is called AI Academy, which is the company sponsoring this webinar today. So with AI Academy, we train people and companies on how to use artificial intelligence, anything from basic AI adoption all the way to more complex rollouts of like AI champions and training of people who need to get a little bit more advanced than just adopting AI. And then I'm the founder of a company called Epiphany. We are a startup. We built a tool for corporate learning and development. It's quite fun. I'm from Rome, so moving to London. And outside of work, I love playing guitar and taking pictures, but I am not that good. But I love doing that. And these are some of the companies and universities that I work with. So that being said, if you have any other question about my background, what I do, or all these sort of things, just drop them in the chat. I love answering questions, so feel free to do that. Rules for today. I always like saying this. Ask all the questions you want, and I recommend you focus. Why do I say this? Is because I know how it is when there's a free webinar. You haven't paid for it, you're just chilling, and maybe you just start looking on Instagram and things like this. But I do believe that this is going to be a useful one. So I encourage you to try to take the next 40 minutes for yourself, because there might be some interesting insights for you. So don't take it as a sort of like, thing in the background that you're just slightly ignoring. Now, let's talk about today's topic. And the reason why I start having this conversation is because I'm quite tired of hearing these sort of sentences. Let me know if you heard this before. Product A just changed everything because there's a new feature. New product A update just killed product B. Or new product just killed old product. You hear this all the time, right? I hear these sentences all the freaking time. And I think what frustrates me is this idea that there needs to be one product that kills all the other products. And then there's one thing and we start using that thing. It doesn't make any sense to me. And it doesn't make any sense because here we're not talking about, a winner take all sort of situation. We are talking about a platform shift. AI is not about finding one tool that rules them all. AI is a platform shift, which means a different way in which people interact with software. And this is something that has happened before, many other times. So the first platform shift we can think of is personal computers. When people went from, pen and paper and mainframes to having a personal computer. But if you look at the personal computing industry, there's Apple, Lenovo, there are iPads, which you could look at computers, there are HPs, there's Microsoft, Linux, there's a big spectrum of things in this industry. Then there's the internet, and there's Google, who won one industry. I mean, arguably Google is the search engine, right? But then how many other things came out? Amazon, you have, dating apps, you have, Deliveroo, you have all sort of things. So this new platform shift, which basically meant that people could suddenly communicate and share information on via the internet, meant a lot of different things. Smartphone, same thing, and now AI is a new platform shift. So it's about changing the way that humans communicate, the way that humans do economic activity, the way that humans absorb information. It's going to change from static internet web page sort of thing to using AI. What does that mean? It means a lot of different things. And today I want to focus specifically on tools. What I want to do today, this is my goal, and you need to tell me, you need to be honest with me. So as you listen, you need to tell me whether I managed to succeed, whether I have success in this ambitious goal. My tool is to create clarity for you on the existing ecosystem and give you guidance on how to leverage different types of tools. Again, this is not about ChatGPT is better than Claude. It's about the ecosystem. I want to be way more strategic than is it a ChatGPT or Copilot or Claude or Gemini, okay? So let's start with how I see the ecosystem of AI tools playing. And this is how I want to categorize it for today. So there are tools that give you different degrees of freedom. And there are 3 different categories. I'm going to go deep into each one of them. There are off-the-shelves AI tools, custom AI agents builders, all the way to vibe-coded apps. These are the 3 categories that I want to talk about today. But I'm going to start with off-the-shelf tools, which are quite simple. These are tools that you have seen and probably used all the time. So on the left, there are the generic AI tools. These are tools like OpenAI, Gemini, Copilot, Claude. These are the tools that pretty much can do anything. So if you open ChatGPT, you can make it, behave like a lawyer or like a doctor, or ask it for a recipe for pasta alla carbonara. You can do whatever you want, right? But then there are also off-the-shelf tools that are more specific. So Epiphany is my startup, which is a startup specifically for instructional design. With Epiphany, you can design corporate training really, really well, better than with ChatGPT or Claude or Copilot, but you cannot ask for legal advice, right? If you want to ask for legal advice, you can either use a generic tool like ChatGPT or Claude or Copilot, or you can find a specialized tool like Legora. Legora is a startup that has grown, honestly, it's been an insane growth, what this company has gone through. But it's a tool specialized for law. Now, again, Legora is perfect for law, but it cannot write marketing content. If you want to write marketing content, you need to either ask Copilot, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, or you can use Jasper, which is a tool specialized for marketing. But these tools are, you buy them, and this is how they are. You buy ChatGPT and you can customize it a bit. You buy Epiphany, you can customize it quite a bit as well. You can buy Legora, you can customize a bit, but these are like, there's somebody who thought about how these tools work, and you need to buy that, okay? So there's a new trend with those generic tools, especially, where it's becoming increasingly easier and easier and easier to customize these products and connect them to other tools. So even though these off-the-shelf tools are supposed to be quite set, it's becoming quite easy to personalize them. And I want to give you some examples. I think the first, let's say, feature that played with this in this like personalization space was custom GPTs. I think all of you have used custom GPTs. Actually, let me know in the chat. Just type down if you use them. Let me know if you do. But for people who have never seen them, they basically allow you to customize the behavior of ChatGPT. So you can create your, I don't know, there's an example here. This one is make presentation 10x faster. It's a specific custom GPT that can create presentation. So I see Zach uses it all the time, Carl and Nicola. Let me know, by the way, where should I put the accent? So if I call you again, I call you in the right way, okay? Let me know in the chat. So you can customize it, and it's quite simple. You just need to describe what you want this to do. Okay, so Google Gems is another one, and there's a few different ways to do this. Nikki, awesome. But then we have also these things called apps that were released in ChatGPT, which are a little bit more than a custom GPT, because you can also do things that are a little bit more advanced. An example is this Airtable app. So Airtable, if you don't know it, it's a tool that basically looks like, let's call it Excel on steroids. It's like a big database kind of thing, but still easy to use. And they built this app where you can connect Airtable to ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT can pick data from there, can write data into Airtable. It can do a bunch of different things, so you can customize it to make ChatGPT behave like ChatGPT plus a database. Amazing. Okay? And Claude is doing this quite a lot as well. So Claude released this thing called skills. Here you see an example of a skill that I've created to help me write content for my blog post, for my LinkedIn, and I built this skill called Gianluca Mauro Brand Instructions. And it's quite cool, but you can build skills that do all sort of things. So here you can see other ones. There's a Slack GIF creator, theme factory, web artifacts builder, brand guidelines, canvas design. There's a bunch of different things that you can do. So you can write them yourself, and then you can customize therefore how Claude behaves. But also Claude has built tons of connectors. So an example might be, I don't know if you guys know Figma. Figma is to generate user interfaces, like to design user interfaces, but you can connect it with Figma, and you can say, hey, pull up information from a Gmail and use it to create a UI of the feedback that I got about my product, whatever. You can do so many things. I just want to give you an example of the connection with Gamma, which is an AI tool to make presentations. It's a beautiful tool, looks really great, and you can connect it to Claude. So basically, my whole point is that if you look at these generic tools, there's actually a little bit of a spectrum in how much freedom you get. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when ChatGPT came out, ChatGPT could do one thing only: talk to you. That's it. When Claude came out, you could do one thing only: talk to you. That's it. But now it's becoming exponential. Honestly, this is growing so fast to have new ways to connect these tools to your existing tools and to make them behave differently. So it can take, in half an hour, we might build a set of skills for Claude that make it behave the way that you want and connect it to your LinkedIn so it can write stuff in your tone of voice, yada, 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 yada. Okay? Kutsi is asking, how do you avoid mounting costs from building your personalized tech stack, AI tools off the shelf, plus apps, plus all the other stuff? We're going to get to this towards the end. So remind me towards the end, but we'll talk about this. I want to make sure that I have covered the rest of the ecosystem before I address that. But my key point here is that these off-the-shelf tools are not all set, actually. They are becoming increasingly, exponentially more flexible, and so you can customize them. But now let's move into the second category, the custom AI agents. These are, what is an agent? An agent is an AI thing that can act, it can do things, okay? Agent comes from agency, right? Agency means being able to do things. So I want to give you a few examples of different agents. So this one is the AI Academy newsletter. If you don't know the AI Academy newsletter, well, you should, it's pretty cool. But we have news that we talk about and we summarize what happened, but we also have what we call our hot takes. Our hot takes is basically our comments on these news. And the way that we do this is quite fun, actually. We have a call on Wednesday afternoons in which we come together with some of the people from our academy, so some of our students. We comment on them, we record a meeting, and we build this automation where we press one button, it takes the transcription of the meeting that we had, it takes the news from Notion, which is where we store them, and puts everything together and writes the newsletter. So it's very custom because it's really fine-tuned to our process. Okay, super fine-tuned to our process, which is still, I think it's quite cool. I want to give you another example. This is something built by our student, one of our students, and I'm doing this to give you some inspiration of what a custom agent might look like. This student of ours, Adam, who, by the way, I think it's here, so if you want to talk about this. So Adam works in construction, specifically in sales in construction. And so he told us that typically he get these big specification PDFs that are full of information, and it's hard to make a yeah, here we go, Adam. Amazing, so glad you're here. So he correct me if I'm wrong, by the way. I don't want to not explain perfectly, let's say, your project, but I'll try. So he was telling us that these PDFs are just full of stuff. There's so much information, and as a salesperson, he has to answer quickly to these requests for proposals, but there's so much information that it's hard to answer quickly. And so he built this interesting automation that takes these PDFs, extracts all the different informations, technical requirements, material types necessary, yada yada, and then he creates this document for the sales team immediately that just gives them a high-level overview of exactly what needs to be included into this bid based on the construction specifications. Let me know, Adam, if I made a mistake. I probably did, because your project was quite complex, and I want to make sure that I didn't say any BS. But so this is an example. It's very custom, really specific to specific to sales in the construction industry. Very niche, right? But at the same time, very useful for Adam and his organization. Another one is Kishore, another one of our students. She wanted to create a process. She works in procurement. She wanted to create a process where you can take sorry, a request for quotes with the quotes from the suppliers and have this AI tool that extracts the quotes, the materials. I'm sorry, guys. You know what? Give me just 10 seconds. I'm going to go get some water. I have something stuck in my throat. Give me a sec. I got like a protein bar before and it's just stuck. Ooh, better, sorry. And so it takes all this information, extracts, quotes, materials, technical requirements, and puts everything in a simple table that is custom based on how her procurement team works. So it's a quite cool project, very custom. So how do you build these? Well, there are tons of different ways, but a tool that we really like is called make.com. We have a partnership with them, but I don't get paid to sponsor this. So I would say that, I'm quite neutral. There are many. There's N8N, which is great. There's Zapier, which is great. We like make.com because, I don't know, I think we started with this and we find that it's quite flexible. But as you can see here, this is an automation that we've built where whenever there's a new lead that submits a request on our website, so this is the first node, we send that information to OpenAI that makes an online research, we parse the request, send it on Slack, and then create a thread on Slack where we add all the information about this lead so we know who they are and we can call them up. As you can see, it's just about stitching together these tools in the right way, writing the right prompts in these modules, and then you're good to go. And fresh off the press, this is from 21 hours ago. I actually made this slide 2 hours ago, so it's from 23 hours ago. But Make has also built a connection with Claude. So now you can build a super custom process like this, does a bunch of things all together, and then you can trigger this through Claude. So I could tell Claude, hey Claude, I have this new lead, and Claude automatically can trigger one of these processes and it can take this lead, put it into your CRM, prepare an email for them all in one step. So you can do a lot of different things. I mean, it's quite weird because if you think about this, now you can connect ChatGPT with Claude. It's kind of weird, but you could. You can make a make automation that every time you send a message to Claude, the message goes to ChatGPT and then comes back. I have no idea why you would do this. It would be the weirdest scenario ever. But if you want, you can technically do it. But my whole message is that there's so much flexibility if you get into this interesting space of custom AI agent builders. And again, we are getting into a space in which, think about this. Again, my objective today is not to talk about Make versus Zapier, it's to help you understand the ecosystem. Think about this. These two categories, off-the-shelf AI tools, ChatGPT, Claude, and custom AI agents were separated until a few hours ago, which now they're connectable. So now you can have a generic tool like Claude that is connected to your super custom AI agent that does a lot of fancy things. Isn't it cool? I think it's quite cool. All right. But as you can see, the ecosystem is sort of blending. It's becoming, instead of becoming boxes, it's becoming like a gradient from super generic, super, off the shelves, all the way to super custom. So let's get into the most custom of the possible categories, let's say, which is the fully vibe coded apps. So vibe coding, I'll make a spoiler here, and I don't want to take ownership of this spoiler. It comes from my good friend Treshan Panch, who's a Harvard. He manages a bunch of executive trainings at Harvard. So I think vibe coding is a term that sounds a little bit derogative. This is going to change. I think we're going to start calling these just natural language programming. The concept is that we're just going to basically talk to a computer, and this computer is going to build software for us. But the first vibe coded app that became viral, I think, was this app called Lovable, made in Stockholm, Sweden. And basically you can just describe what you want to build and it builds it for you. Okay. I want to give you some demos of a couple of different things that we built at AI Academy. I'm going to real quick change what I share with you guys so you can see these demos. Share my screen, give me just 1 second, but I want you to get an idea of what you can do with vibe coding. All right. So this is our partners portal. Okay, so our colleague Biljana, she manages a lot of our partner relationships. And by the way, if you want to partner up with the Academy, to resell our programs, let us know, drop a message in the chat. But once we have a new partner, like now you see test company, well, we Biljana built this app where there are a few different onboarding checklists, so they can easily just go and see, you know, what they need to do in order to get onboarded. This is some bunch of like information about our positioning, our product catalog, so they can see, you know, how much our products are and all of these things. We also built up AI promo generator. So if I'm a partner and I want to generate an ad about our annual membership for LinkedIn, I can say we'll offer it tomorrow, whatever, generate content, and then I get you know, something that is customized. So they don't need to even worry too much about how to what's the word? How to position our products, because we know it best, but we built an AI that allows them to do that. Then they have these UTM links, resources. Honestly, it's amazing. And this was vibe coded by our amazing Biljana. So I think it's quite cool and I kind of love it. So I'll show you a couple of other things that just because they're fun. Biljana's daughter built this. She's, I think, 8 years old. She loves cats, and she built Emma's perfect kitties website. It's insane to me, because this is like, if you take a child who has an amazing creativity, you can see how many cool things you can do. And so, first of all, she thought it was cool to have a cat that just keeps moving around the screen, and so it's always here moving around. And you can you know, find out a few cool things about cats. So you can see how much they sleep, how much this, you know, how powerful is their nose, and then you can catch the kittens. I'm really bad at this game, honestly, but maybe I'm gonna get embarrassed when I try to do this. So memory match. This is, I'll show this other game. I think this one might need to. It's not working on my laptop. It worked last time. So you know how memory works when you click and you need to identify two of the same. I think these two are the same. Here we go. I'm really bad at this. Like, I always lose, and yeah, here we go. I think these two are the same. Yeah, I understand the game. But anyway, this was built by an 8-year-old. I love this. And then you can read more about their breeds. It's really cool. And this is built instead by another little game built by our partnership lead. She built a simulator of a virtual AI Academy office. So you can move around and you can find Ross, our sales consultant. You can talk to him. Ross here, fair warning, I pitched the bootcamp even while getting coffee. Then you can say, do you use AI agents yourself? And then we see an answer from Ross, and I can ask him any sort of question. We are not selling a course, we're selling transformation. And I said that generally, not as a pitch. It's kind of funny. So, you know, she built this thing. I don't know why she did it. I think maybe she has too much time on her hands. I don't know. But you can also find Martin the dog, which is my family dog, who is, I think, somewhere over here. Yeah, this is Martin the dog. Here we go. But this was vibe coded by Helen. I hope it didn't take her. Press E to pet Martin. Oh my god. Do you want your tennis ball? Let's see if he wants the tennis ball. I think he wants. Happy Zoom is around your legs. Yes. That's exactly what Martin would do. Anyway, this was something quite, you know, fun and simple that Helen built. But just to give you an idea of, like, you can do these sort of things and things that are way more, you know, I guess useful. I think all of them are useful, but this one is more useful for our business, at least. Okay, but so they really allow you to be super flexible, right? It can help you be extremely flexible. I don't know any tool. I mean, think about this. Do you think there's any tool that is specifically built to build cat websites? I don't think that exists. Okay, but with vibe coding, you can build whatever the hell you want. Okay, but let's talk a little bit about what that actually means, because then what is the implication that we're just gonna go ahead and everybody's gonna go and build their own things, like, and then what, like, what is the purpose of this? So I want to help you see that, first of all, there is not one way of building vibe coding apps. Lovable is one, and it has grown like crazy, but there are others. There's Cursor, for instance, which is an app that is code first. It's made for developers who understand code, can see it, read it, change it, And then they have on the right this agent that can write code for them. Okay? Then we have Codex from OpenAI, which is interesting because on Codex, you can see the code, but you can't edit it. So it's made just to review, but you're not supposed to write code in Codex. So there's a different level of control that all these tools give you. Again, starting from Lovable, in which you cannot see the code even if you wanted to Codex, in which you can see the code, but you're not supposed to edit it, to Cursor, which is a tool where you write the code yourself, but you can also use AI to do the heavy lifting for you. So what I'm trying to say is that even here, there's a spectrum of control. Vibe coding is not one single thing. So when people say Lovable just killed software engineering, I'm like, well, I don't know. I mean, software engineers are not going to use Lovable. They might use Cursor, which might write 90% of the code for them, but you understand there's no one size fits all. We are 8 billion people in this planet, and I think there's space for more than one tool. Okay. So the interesting thing with vibe coding is that it's still not safe yet. Let's just be clear. I think it will be the way that people write software, but I want to talk about threats just for 2 minutes because I'm a responsible human being. Okay. So I don't know if you heard about this, but this became crazy viral. There was this guy who built Moltbook. It's basically a social media app only for AI agents. And he said he didn't write any single line of code, I vibe coded the whole thing, blah, 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 blah. Okay? Yeah, I see that Mick was waiting for the threats part. I'm not gonna disappoint you, my friend. So it got hacked in one day. And what does it mean it got hacked? It means that this company that tests the security of software was in one day able to get full access to their database. They got the data about their users, who they followed, all their comments, their email address, their API keys, which basically means their password, all of it. They found also something quite interesting is that the app said, hey, we have 1.5 million agents. And they said that one agent was one human. And instead, they found out from this database they had 17,000 humans for 1.5 million agents. Basically, they realized that it was built so poorly that it was very easy to basically create infinite accounts because it was not built properly. Other interesting thing, they could find literally the passwords of each agent, the freaking passwords. It gets even better. They could access the full identity of the humans behind these agents, like email, name, and surname. So any personal data that they had on the tool, thank God, just these 3 data points, which are still important, but all the data. Private messages, as well as passwords for other tools. So if you connected your agent to Moltbook and to Slack, let's say, they could also get your Slack token to access Slack. All right, it's even better. You could modify people's posts. So they hacked it so bad that you could potentially edit posts written by someone else. So if, I don't know, I write, hey, I love ChatGPT, you could log in and modify my post to make it look like I said, I hate ChatGPT. Do you realize how bad this is? It's like bad, 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 bad. And the reason why this happened, I just wanted to show you like how when they hacked, they just posted this. The reason why this happened is because the person who vibe coded this thing forgot to add a password to the database. It's like you built a house and you left the keys outside. This is literally what happened. Kind of bad. But what I want to say is they are bad today. They are bad today, guys. I'm sorry. But are there solutions? And are these solutions for tomorrow or for in 50 days or for 50 years? Well, a solution that people are already working on, and I have to say, I think it's going to eventually go somewhere, is to use AI to find AI's problems. So this is an example of something I've done where I was vibe coding an app. And then when I was quite happy about how this app worked, I, I I'm a fairly technical person, meaning that I can understand the code, but I don't consider myself good enough to know everything about security. And then I opened a new chat. This is Codex, by the way, and I said, scan the entire code and tell me if there's any security threat. And he found a bunch. And if you keep doing it, like it's gonna eventually make it safe. I think this is not good enough now, again, but I do believe that in the future this will be possible. Okay. But so then, if I want to talk about threats because I want to be a responsible person, and I think these things are important. But I want to get to a closing of this whole big conversation that I had with you guys. Because basically what we are saying is that there's a spectrum of freedom. And with freedom you always gain and lose something. There's no free lunch, okay? So you gain freedom, you can do more things, more beautiful stuff, more complex apps, but also you can also screw up way more. You can make way more chaos, make way more mistakes, right? You risk way more. But there's a spectrum here as well. The kind of fuck ups that you can do with Lovable that is still quite constrained are way less than the fuck ups you can do with Cursor. That is a tool that is basically just like it's writing code like an engineer would, right? Lovable have their own way of doing this. So it's a bit more restrained again, but it's also a bit safer. But there's a whole spectrum. If you use ChatGPT, that's it. So you're all the way here. You have less freedom, but also you're quite chill. You can integrate it. You have more freedom. You can do more. Or you can build custom AI agents where you have even more freedom, but you also have control. Because if you see what I mean by control, I mean, let's say you don't know how to write code, but you can probably understand this graph. You can probably understand, okay, this data going from here to here to here to here. And I mean, we have trained like hundreds of people in using these tools. So we know that even if you're not a technical person, you can learn this. But so going back to this slide, here with these custom AI agents, you have more flexibility, more customization possible, but you still have control because you can visualize what's going on. You can move even further and build more fancy things, more custom stuff, but you're always gaining flexibility, losing control, and therefore increasing risk. But this whole thing, what I wanted to show you is that this is a spectrum. And the interesting thing is that you don't need to pick one. In fact, as I said before, you can connect your custom AI agent to your off-the-shelf tool. You can connect your make.com automation to your Claude account. But also, you can vibe code an app. You can just vibe code the UI, the screen, and you can connect that to a custom AI agent you've built on make.com. So you get the best of both worlds. You get the beautiful, easy to visualize, high control overview that you get on make.com, something like this. But you also get that luxury of creating all the sort of custom interfaces that you want that you can get with vibe coded apps. So as you can understand, the ecosystem is becoming all interconnected, and it's becoming, again, it's like pick your own need for flexibility and pick your own appetite for risk. Okay? So the last question that I want to try to answer is, who are these tools for? This is, I think, an important conversation because I've heard so many times, and I'm sure you heard that as well, oh, software development is dead. Nobody's going to write code anymore. You can just vibe code your way. Yes, potentially you can do that. But does not mean that now everybody's going to vibe code their own thing. Well, let's talk about this. So I took these three categories: off the shelves, custom agents, and vibe coded apps. And let's think if these are for non-technical or for technical people. And apologies, I just realized that I messed up my slide. The emojis should be the other way around. Okay. So, I mean, computer is technical, it's up, non-technical, it should be down without a computer. Okay. Anyway, you get the point. So off-the-shelf AI tools are definitely for both of them. A developer finds value in using ChatGPT as a lawyer, okay? Custom AI agents, also these ones are for both of them. Again, in the AI Academy, we trained hundreds of people with no technical expertise in building sometimes quite fancy automations. So it makes total sense, but also developers love them. My CTO in my company, love him, big nerd, loves to code, but sometimes, he likes to just not code and click a bunch of buttons and get what he wants to get. So that totally makes sense. When it comes to vibe coded apps, I mean, they're definitely for technical people because they can get to what they need to get faster. For non-technical people, I think there's still a little bit of a warning. You need to know where to use vibe-coded apps, where to prefer custom AI agents, where to use off-the-shelf AI tools. And also how, like, are you gonna build a prototype? Somebody was asking this, if you create a vibe-coded app in, say, Lovable, it's really just a proof of concept and still needs to be built in order to work for, say, a company handoff, right? Or am I incorrect? I was waiting for this moment, Zach, to answer your question, because your question was actually great. There's a few, it's totally possible to build something with Lovable and give it to 1 million users. No problem. If that thing is built safely. The problem is, can you, if you don't know anything about code, say, yes, this was built safely? No, probably. It's gonna be really hard, right? So there's different strategies to use them. Some companies vibe code prototypes and then they build them in real code. Some other companies are totally fine with building, vibe coding apps, but then you have an engineer who checks them. And what I recommend, because it's a new thing and it's getting quite hot, I think, is to know that you can vibe code your user interface, but then you can use other tools like these custom agents where you have much more control. Again, it's not about one tool. Stop thinking Lovable is gonna kill everybody. Lovable is not gonna kill anyone, all right? I guess. Start instead thinking about what is my objective? How much freedom do I need? And how much risk can I take? And then you decide how to build up your tool ecosystem, your tool stack to match that. Okay? Guys, let me know if this was useful and interesting and if it cleared up your mind. Because this was my message and I hope it helped you see. I have one more important thing to say, by the way, so don't leave now. But it closes this big conversation around the AI ecosystem. So please let me know in the chat if you found this useful and if it helped you clarify a little bit how this whole ecosystem can play together. And most of all, the fact that it's a spectrum. It's not one thing only. It's not A or B. It's A and B and C and D and E and F. It depends on what are your needs and who you are. All right? So let me know in the chat if this was useful, if you feel like you have some clarity. All right? Yeah, make it say bigger companies equals Copilot and that's it. It's true, large companies are typically a bit more behind and have less risk appetite, so they tend to use mostly tools like Copilot, but I see that changing as well. So again, it depends also what is your timeline. If you're interested in the next 2 years or in the next 10 years or in the next 2 weeks, okay? It was that's full. I think I still need to get more clear on which programs and platforms fit into which area to fully understand how to orchestrate things and where I am. Perfect. So I think this is a great, it's a great sort of segue into, I need to pitch you guys something, guys. So full disclaimer, I'm about to pitch you a training program that we have in AI Academy that will help you a lot with this. So if you're interested in hearing about this, stay 5 more minutes. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this webinar and thank you for coming. But let me tell you quickly how we can help you understand all this ecosystem and build your own stuff. So how do you learn all of this? Well, I think you should join the next edition of the AI Agent Bootcamp. So what are you going to learn into this? You're going to learn how to identify opportunities to create value with generative AI. I don't think everything can be done with AI. I don't think everything should be done with AI. We're going to teach you where to start and where to go. You're going to design an AI agent to tackle that opportunity. So instead of going random and just plugging tools together, you're going to understand how to build the right framework to glue all these things together in a way that makes sense and brings value and is safe. You will learn a process to write reusable, scalable, and reliable prompts that work every time. Really important. Most people write their prompts and cross fingers. We're going to teach you a repeatable way to test them. Advanced prompt techniques and a bunch of different things. The most important thing I wanted to tell you is the process. The process is everything, right? I think it's great. So we start by giving you access to our community and 7 on-demand modules with video lessons plus practical exercises. Then there are 5 live sessions that are going to lead you to build your own projects, graduate, get your certificate, and pitch your project in front of other learners and in front of me, where I give you some custom feedback. In these live sessions, we teach you how to identify your project, then break down the process so you know exactly what to automate, what not to automate. We teach you how to evaluate your prompts so you're sure that they work. Imagine if you work for a company, you build an AI project and your boss tells you, hey, how often does this prompt do something wrong? And you're like, I don't know, not cool. We teach you how to give a number to them, okay? So you can actually measure this. Then we teach you how to build your AI agent, and then finally you pitch it and do your demo. But the best thing about this program is the one-on-one coaching that you have. We have an amazing network of AI coaches. I think we're at 16 now. Let me count. 5, 10, yeah, 16. They always, they keep increasing. So every time that I have this slide, I need to count them up because they keep getting more. These are amazing people you can schedule real one-on-one calls with. This is an example. You have this page. This is Alessandro, one of our top coaches. And you can just see who they are, what they are experts in, what they know how to do, and then you can book a call with them. Alessandro, for instance, is an expert in HR, and he's so good. I think he's the biggest nerd I know in AI video generation and avatar generation and all of that. So if you need that, you can talk to him. But if you need, I don't know, let's say your project is around learning, well then Fraser is an instructional designer, so you might want to talk to him instead. You can pick whoever you want to talk to. You can also mix and match and talk to more than one. Okay, so pretty cool. Adam, Adam has been one of our students recently, and I think you've done 2 projects, if I remember correctly. So you've done it twice, which means that I think it was actually great. And thank you for running that in message. We have trained hundreds of students who build all sort of different things. And the thing that we launched recently, a lot of people love, is the membership. The membership means that basically, since AI changes all the time, if you get a membership, you can join as many cohorts as you want. So you might learn how to build a project now in March, and then you might want to do it again in July, and you don't need to pay again, because in July you're going to learn new things, because we keep updating this every single edition. Plus, you get a bunch of other trainings like Foundations of AI, which is about everything else that is not ChatGPT and generative AI. We were here for a long time before ChatGPT came out. So you get this, you get Build Ethical AI, which I love, AI Career Compass, and Generative AI for Business Innovation. And again, you get the best support in AI education programs and more. Honestly, so many different things. I feel like this bootcamp, we add so many different things to it. So just go on the website, which we're gonna post the link of now in the chat. Check it out, and you can take your time to read. But don't take too long, because we have a €100 off offer until Sunday, March 8th. And remember that your company can pay for it. There's a lot of companies who are happy to invest in their employees' AI education. Well, because AI is freaking hot right now. So it kind of makes sense that they want their employees to learn how AI works, so they can potentially bring new ideas, fresh ideas into the organization. All right? So I hope I'm gonna see you in class. Oh, and by the way, if you get the membership, you also lock in the price, which I think is important. I hope I'm gonna see you in class. And if you're manager at a company and want a little bit more, so you maybe want to do a private edition of this for your company, reach out to Helen, who is our partnership lead, and she will help you understand how to structure a custom training for your organization. All right? Cool. Q&A. Any question? I know I've been 5 minutes late, but I can stay 5 more minutes if you have any question. In the meantime, I'm going to keep these up, because I really hope that I'm going to see many people join this bootcamp. I think it's going to be a fun one, especially with these new integrations with Claude and Claude integrated with Make and all these different things. I think there's going to be way more that we can introduce now compared to the old one. It's crazy. Every edition we do, there's something new we need to add. It's kind of fun. It's also a bit stressful because it keeps changing. Oh my God. Okay, any question? I'll stay in a few more seconds, wait if there's any question coming up. Otherwise, I will tell you goodbye, and I hope I will see you in class. When is the next course starting? It's next week on Monday. It's starting on the 9th, which I think is quite cool because it means that if you get this before Sunday, so before the end of this week, you get 100 euros off and you can start building your project on Monday. Isn't it cool? The session on Monday is not, it's more like a warm-up kind of session, but it's like we're kicking off the program. So if you cannot join it, also it's not gonna destroy completely your learning journey. But I think it's quite cool that you can basically just start immediately. Thank you for the question, Adam. I don't know if I'm gonna see you maybe. I don't know if you're doing another run, your third edition. Any other question? No? Well then, amazing. I am gonna go relax and I hope I will see many of you in class building cool new AI things together. All right? Thank you all. See you. Thank you for staying here.